Julie. How are you? Thank you. I had a lot of fun with that one. I did have to get up a little bit extra early for it, but it was so worth it. My shower, though, whew, I'm going to have to deep scrub after this. My shower. Hey. Hello, hello, hello. Um, so like tomorrow, me and Jess are going to be sewing this market tote, and I am like wanting, you know how whenever I do a bag, I have to do like a special Nova twist. I want to pull some I elements out of the fabric that I was gifted and make some applique. And I thought, what better way to show you some tips and tricks how to make, applique pieces without necessarily having a Cricut, Brothers Scannicut, a laser and all that. All that stuff is really awesome to have. They're great tools. But if we go back to the basic before all of these machines can do what they did, people created appliques by hand and by their drawings or other people's drawings. And it's quite fun once you do it. And um, you wind up liking what you make. It becomes uniquely yours. Um, so yesterday, oops, sorry, I'm bumping. You guys see my towel. I just had to wash all that white out of my hair. So yesterday, this has so much glitter. This has all the glitter on it. So yesterday with Brittany, we made these bags. And if you guys watched it live, I mean, the day before yesterday, me and Brittany made this bag. If you watched the day before the live, I didn't have the mouthpiece and I just did it haphazardly and I was drawing it with chalk to do the mouth. And that's what actually made me want to do an applique because someone sent me a message saying, how did you just come up with a mouthpiece without without a pattern piece? And that got my wheels turning on today because what I was going to do with the So Many Creations pattern, I'm going to follow the pattern exactly like Jess said and just, put little Nova bedazzlings on it here and there. And then I thought, when I seen the fabric that I was working with, I wanted to use some applique from it. So that made me think, what can I do to create applique pieces that can coordinate with the fabric as well as show you guys how I guess how my brain works. If you're in Patreon, you kind of already know my Nova isms. Like, like once I get a thought in my head, I kind of just run with it. But if you're not a part of that, you kind of don't know how my brain processes because when I do tutorials, I do them by the book. I don't do modifications. I do them exactly how the pattern is written because that's what a tutorial is. I want to give you exactly how the designer written it, and I will give you tips and tricks to go over humps that I may have struggled with so that way it can be easier for you. So with that being said, let's do this. So I printed out the market tote and all you have to do to get this free pattern is go to So Many Creations website and then she has a menu. She has this part that says tutorials and free patterns. You click on that and she has a slew full of different tutorials and free patterns. But if you scroll down, I think it's like the third thing, it's like market tote and you click right onto the Adobe and the link opens and you can print the pattern. And then you can follow along with us tomorrow. And the reason why I came to Jess and ask her we can do this one is because I go to the market every single day to go get like fresh pressed green juice or orange juice or go get my kombucha's teas or something. It's kind of took in place of trying to get Starbucks or getting McDonald's coffee. So I'm really familiar with my grocery store, but I never remember my market totes. And I wanted to have a tote that I can bring so that way that's super cute that I could take in and out of the car and I will remember. So I wanted to make a Halloween one that I can have that represents me. When something looks like it belongs to me, I become attached to it and I won't forget it. And this is when why I wanted to really make this. So I'm really excited. So what I did is I went online and I start looking for SVGs, or you can put in pumpkin leaves applique, are pumpkin applique, leaves applique, and you can see that there's so many different ones. If you're a bad drawer and you can't sketch out a pumpkin, they have like different things that you can go to, different sites that are free that you can download. Like they'll have like, these are the autumn pumpkins, and then they'll have where you could trace it out. Like this is the dark pumpkin, this is the golden pumpkin, and this is the light pumpkin, and these are the stems, these are the leaves. I don't necessarily do this because I like to have some original, like being a little bit original. But if I do get stuck in a pickle where I can't really do the shape, I do like to have a reference picture so I can freehand draw. But what I like to do, like if I'm doing leaves, is I will try to figure out leaves that are popular in my area. So like we have oak leaves, and I started drawing them out with stenciling. And then we have poplar leaves, and you could just pull up leaves pictures on your phone, or if you are in a beautiful area where fall is all around you and there's leaves all around you, you can just look and you can practically pick one up and just trace it if you want. And there's maple leaves out right now, and you can see all these beautiful leaves, and you can just trace it and you can make it to whatever size you want. But so the fabric I was gifted is this amazing, like old school Halloween. Dude, I am like head. So I want to make some pumpkins. There are like brooms, potion bottles. There's this dude, he's like saying boo, and he's like witch's stockings on. I don't know. He's like my favorite. So I wanted to, on one side, if you look, there's one side that is we're gonna quilt, and that we piece together, and the other side is that has the pocket. So on the pocket piece, it's gonna have this. I'm gonna try to fussy cut it so it can look really nice and that it's seamless. But I would like to have like a pumpkin or some leaves just to incorporate it. And then I see that there are the straps down right here on the side. I thought, well, what if I put like maybe a or some leaves, so that way that can go over it, and that could be another fixture that makes the bag a little bit different. Because in this pattern, she has like this beautiful cork polka dots, and I was like, what if I put applique over one of the straps or both of the straps on one side? Like, what if I put a pumpkin on both straps, and it could be looking like it's meant to be, like it's an anchor of some sort, and it will make the bag look a little bit different. So I'm starting to pull characters from the material that I'm doing. But let's say you're doing you have polka dots, you can start, and you was just like a black and white theme, and you're like, hey, I want to make it into a Halloween theme. You can start looking at anything, which is hats, mushrooms, um, writing out the letter word boo across the bag. You can applicate absolutely anything. And by drawing it out and cutting it out, it helps tremendously. So you're like, okay, Shnova, once I cut out the leaves, what am I going to do with the stems, the skeleton part? There's a couple things you can do. You can, if you're good at quilting and you have thicker thread, you can go and like kind of sew in individually all the leaf skeleton. And it looks super cool when you do this. If you go at least twice, it will look like the skeleton, and it just looks really cool. When you do this, I don't actually recommend you sewing around. I just recommend you sew the skeleton and leave the circumference alone. It gives it a more puffier look, and with the edges being lifting up, it looks like it's just a floating leaf. That's just my personal preference. Another thing you can do is edge paint. A lot of us have edge paint on hands, and we have multiple different colors. If you have the Shannon had a collection with Mojo. It has like some of the most prettiest browns. They're perfect for leaves, like for the stem. You can edge paint the stem. I would put your base coat on, let it dry, and create freehand the stem. This would be perfect for Julie because Julie is a fantastic painter. So you can paint your stem, I'm gonna call it a skeleton, okay? You can freehand your skeleton with the edge paint. You could just trace it out with a pencil, do your edge paint with the base coat, let it dry, and then do it with edge paint. And it'll give it like a puffy 3D dimension. And then you can just top stitch it 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And you can make the stem in the middle like a little bit darker, so you can give it like a contour, a little bit more dimension, and it brings that stem to life. And the third thing you can do is you can do fabric markers or leather markers. There's leather markers at Joann's. And sometimes if you have a 60% coupon, you can get them relatively cheap. So I'll give you an example. I cut out this leaf by hand, and you can see I drew out the leaf and I just trimmed all the way around, and I just traced it with a leather marker. It's not going to go anywhere, and it just stays because it's a permanent marker, and it's meant for materials. And I did this on cork, and I can just stick this now onto something, and I have a now I can just like sew 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And if I'm like, hey, I want the stem to be a little bit darker, I don't like the way the stem is, I can color the stem a different color, and no one will be none the wiser. And I can have a little bit fun playing around with the colors. And this is another point with all those cool scraps we have in here. I have like a whole bunch of mustard yellow scraps that are about 4-inch squares. I can have a lot of fun pulling out different colors to bring in that fall element. Or I have little pieces of suede. I cut this out and it's a pumpkin. And then I drew the pumpkin lines, and then I cut out a little leaf, and now that's the stem. And I can go around, sew this at 1/8 of an inch, and I have now a pumpkin applique. So you don't necessarily need a SVG file or having a fancy machine, but if you do have it, most of these machines like the Cricut, the Brother Scan and Cut, they usually have like leaf pumpkin shapes built into the machine already or into the software, and you can go ham and have fun with it. So I would definitely take inspiration off of the material you're using. So mine so happily is Halloween tomorrow. So I'm like going ham off of like trying to make cute stuff that will I could put onto my bag. Hey. So I will show you. I'm gonna do another freehand one so that way I can just show you. All right, so I'm going to use this. I will use the back side, and because you can't really see pencil on here, I'm going to use a pen. I draw on the back side, and I'm going to draw an oak leaf. So I would use whatever reference. So this is how I drew my last oak leaf. I'm going to draw the stem, how I seen fit. And there's no wrong or right way to make anything. No one is a perfect artist. My brother can outdraw like anyone. I'm not as good as him, but I have a lot of fun drawing. So I know that I want the stem to be a little bit thicker when I'm drawing, like when I'm cutting it out. So I'm going to make it about 1/4 of an inch. So that way when I'm doing it, it could be perfect. And I want maybe this to be a little bit more rounded. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it out. So a reason why I wanted to do this is just to show you that you don't have to have a machine, because I get a lot of people saying, don't I need a SVG? I need a machine to do this. Not necessarily. Original appliques were all cut out by hand. And if you're doing this in cotton, you can just do a zigzag stitch over it. Just be very careful. Use sharp scissors that are appropriate for you, whatever material you're using. And it's going to be much easier than you think, because you made the drawing yourself. It's going to be easier for you to cut out. When it's somebody else's work, it becomes a little bit difficult because you're not familiar with it. Because your hand just, colored this in or drew this in, it's going to be easier for you to cut out. Take your time, make sure you breathe. Okay. All right. And because this is cork, I'm going to singe the edges so that way there's no fuzzies. I weirdly like the way cork smells when I'm singeing it. I know that's an issue. All right. So I have this really cool leaf, and then I could take a marker. I'm going to use a fabric marker. I'm going to put this on the back, and I'm going to draw a line from the stem to the tip of the leaf, and then I'm just going to put the cap on, draw the skeleton of the leaf. And you can use different colors and just have fun with it. I like the fabric markers for situations like this. Because you can have a little bit more fun and make more details. And we have a leaf. That's it. It's really that simple. You can just have so much fun. Just whatever fabric you're going to use, just pull from it and have fun. If you have polka dots and you want to put cool stripes, do it. If you're making a Beetlejuice bag and you want to make a sandworm, you could try to just trace something out and cut it out. If you want to just use lettering, find a font that you really like, have it typed out, print it out, and then put it onto your fabric and trace it out and cut it out. You can do this. It's more easier than you think it is. Yes, having a machine, incredible thing to do, but with that you can have a little bit more waste. It does take a little bit more time to set up, and if you're not familiar with the software, it can be very frustrating. So always go back to basics, because I don't know, it's here for us. So we have this leaf, and now I could just, if I want to, when I'm getting ready to cut out my bag, I can just put this on there, and it's cute because it's different and unique. So that's one of my favorite things I love to do when I am doing applique. I will have a more in-depth about reverse applique. I feel like that one I need to go into greater details with, because that I do a lot of work for it, but for just applique itself, I just usually cut things out freehand. Even like if it's Jack Skeleton, there's so many references online where you can just freehand and draw. And I know you could print something out and you can trace it. There's the world's your oyster. So that is pretty much it. So if you're going to be sewing with me tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m., we're going to be making the market tote. All you have to do is go to Sew Creative, and then So Many Creations, I'm sorry. So go to So Many Creations and go down to tutorial and free. And I'm sorry, yeah, tutorials and free patterns. And like about the third one down, you'll see the market tote. That is the one that we're going to sew up tomorrow. And that will be the last Halloween project. So I'm really excited to see it and do it. Because I've been really wanting to do this bag for a very long time, and I'm hoping that all of us can get together. So that is it, my friends. You have a cricket. You gotta you don't, you should give it a go. Like I'm telling you, you get like really cute, like I don't know. I get it. I get it. I have really cool cutting devices too, but sometimes I just like cutting things by hand just because I don't know. I like the way things look. And even if I can scan things in, I still like to do things by hand now and again. I have some really cool cutting machines too, and edging machines. It's just super fun. Um, I don't know, but I'm weird like that. So, um, so that is it. If you have any questions about applique, please like leave a message or comment down below, and I will be there to answer it. And until then, I will see you guys tomorrow with my final look for Halloween, because it will be Halloween tomorrow, and then we will be sewing up a bag, which I'm really excited about. So I will talk to y'all later. Bye.